How to make small talk. Like it or not, small talk is integral to your success. Whether you're networking, speaking with a new prospect, or warming up a customer before upselling them or asking for a referral. You must be able to build rapport with casual conversations. To help you master this crucial skill, we've written a little comprehensive guide to small talk. What is small talk? Small talk is light, informal conversation. It's commonly used when you're talking to someone you don't know very well and at networking and social events. How to make small talk. There are 4 strategies that will help you make small talk in any situation. First, ask open-ended questions. Most people enjoy talking about themselves. Not only are we our favorite subjects, but it's also easier to discuss yourself than something that you know little about. Think about it. Would you have a hard time speaking about 14th century glassblowing or your favorite book? Open-ended questions generate an interesting, dynamic conversation and encourage the person you're speaking with to open up. Second, practice active listening. It's tempting to tune out occasionally, but you'll forge much stronger connections if you pay attention. The other person will notice how engaged you seem. In addition, it's much easier to ask relevant questions and remember details to bring up later if you're not listening with one ear. Third, put away your phone. We tend to pull out our phones when we're feeling uncomfortable or awkward in social situations, but nothing will sabotage your conversational efforts more quickly. A few people will approach you if you're scrolling through your phone, and you'll send a plain message to anyone you're already talking to that you're not interested. Fourth, show your enthusiasm. Small talk might not always be the most stress-free activity. However, if you go into it with the right attitude, you can actually have fun. So small talk topics, your location or venue, show, movies, plays, art, food, restaurants, or cooking, their hobbies, their professional interests and responsibilities, sports, the climate, travel, their local favorites. Having good small talk topics up your sleeve won't just help you kick off great conversations, it will also relieve some of the anxiety of walking into an unknown environment. So, some great conversation starters. What's the most exciting thing about your business? What's the most exciting thing about your product? What's the most exciting thing about your team? What's the most exciting thing about your industry? What's the most significant change at your company in the past 6 months? If you could go back 1 year in time, what would you do differently? I'm curious to know your story. Tell me about your highlights at blank company name. Tell me about your lowlights at blank company name. What's your biggest priority right now? What's your lowest priority? What is your boss fixated on right now? What's your number one most important metric? And what can I do to help you achieve X goal? For customers, how are things going? What's your progress on X goal? How has business changed since we last talked? What are you worried about? What are you happy about? Which industry events are you planning on attending? How are your efforts in blah, blah, blah? How's life in blah, blah, blah? What can I do to make you even more successful? For professional acquaintances, what's your industry like right now? Do you need any introductions? Tell me about your latest work win. The talking points above are great umbrella topics for small talk, but you might be looking for a specific topic. Okay, some small talk questions that you can ask. How did you end up at name of event? If you could snap your fingers to instantly summon your coworker boss, would you, and why not? What's the best highlight of your day? Are you a long way from home? Would you recommend that food, drink, whatever they're holding to somebody? What's the most memorable part of your part of this. If this was Groundhog Day and you had to repeat this day over and over, would you be relatively happy or unhappy? What's the last movie you saw in theaters? Another one on the same topic of that is last book you read. What was the last concert you went to? Which TV show would you choose to live in? What are you currently watching? So this says how to talk to strangers. Talking to strangers is nerve-wracking for most people. Even if you're fairly charismatic and confident, the number one technique to use, questions. As long as the other person is talking, you don't need to say anything beyond, tell me more, interesting. That's far easier than attempting to entertain them with your own stories. Don't just ask one question and then move on. Once the other person has finished their answer, ask a follow-up question. This migrates the risk of, for instance, if you say, where are you from? And they reply, Minnesota, you ask, why did you move? Or what's the greatest similarity between Minnesota and here? When you first kick off the conversation, you know virtually nothing about this person. That's why author and speaker Gretchen Rubin suggests opting for topics common to both of you in the moment. Your physical environment is always a safe bet. Look around for something worth commenting on, the architecture, an interesting piece of artwork, the song that's playing, and so on. The other person's clothing can also work as a conversation starter, although you may want to avoid seeming creepy. Give comments like, those shoes are pretty unique. Where'd you get them? And I like your shirt's design. What brand is it? Rather than ones that just say your pants look good, that's kind of... Rubin also recommends reacting to comments in the spirit they were given. So when the other person makes a joke, laugh, even if you don't think it was a knee slapper. If they offer a surprising detail or anecdote, like the lack of a Oxford comma could cost it made the company millions of dollars in an overtime lawsuit, react with surprise. They'll feel gratified by your response. How to end a conversation. It's also handy to have a pre-planned exit if this conversation is stalling or it's simply finished and you need a non-awkward way out. Use this line to gracefully wrap things up. So there are 8 potential exit lines. This has been great. Thanks for telling me about X. Do you have a card? Can't wait to hear about blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go grab some food. Great to catch up with you. I see my blah, blah, blah over there. I should go say hi. Do you want to exchange contact info? I'm glad we got a chance to connect over blah, blah, blah. So how to get better at small talk. It doesn't always matter how bad you are at small talk. With practice and the right steps and strategies, you can improve. Small talk is a skill just like any other. 1, look for opportunities to make small talk. The more frequently you do it, the more comfortable you'll become. You'll also quickly learn which topics generate the best conversations and how to gauge a person's mood and personality by the body language and tone of their voice. When to pivot to new topics and the signs that conversation is wrapped up. Pretend you're speaking to a friend. Would you be on edge if you were making small talk with someone you knew really well? Probably not. If you need a quick trick to mitigate your anxiety, pretend the other person is a good friend. 3, give yourself a break. Don't dwell on awkward moments or long silences. We're all far more focused on and critical of ourselves than anyone else in the room. Set a goal, have an objective, can make small talk feel more meaningful. For example, maybe you commit to meeting 4 people at the event or exchanging contact information with 2 other professionals in your field. Once you've gotten a concrete goal, you'll feel purposeful and focused. This also allows you to objectively measure your success. So things to avoid with small talk. You want to be curious about the person. I'm just going to sum this up. You can read it while I talk. But you want to be curious about the person, but don't forget to listen and stay engaged. Uh, Second, pose unique questions and start non-obvious discussions. But you also want to avoid ultra controversial topics such as politics, physical appearance, religion, age, anything, pretty much PG and up. Whether you love making small talk or wish you never had to do it, these tips, conversation starters, and questions will help you get the most of it. Good luck out there. And you can go back and pause at any section that you might need help with. So thank you for listening.